The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
So hello and welcome to the Star Sport podcast once again this week. I am your host Matthew Hurley and I'm joined today, as always, by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. The Star Sport podcast is brought to you in association with our friends at Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, where your bank really does matter. Choose credit union, choose local, choose community. Now later on the show, we will be joined by Carbery GAA PRO Tim Buckley to discuss the upcoming centenary event for Carbery GAA. But first, we'll look at some main headlines in the past week in West Cork sport and indeed national sport as well. We'll start off locally here and we'll start off with soccer. And of course, Clonakilty Soccer Club completed their quadruple last Sunday. They beat Drinagh Rangers 4-2 in Clonakilty Park to cement themselves as West Cork League champions for this season. They did the real domestic double last season with the Beamish Cup in the Premier Division. They've done it again this time around. They've won the quadruple. They probably won this game at pretty much at their ease in many ways as well. They were 2-0 up after 20 minutes. Drinagh gave them a bit of scares here and there, but ultimately Clonakilty were the best team on the land this year.
Exactly, yeah. Kind of when it comes to, I suppose, defining who's the best team in a particular area or region, it's the league that tells the story. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But if you look at Clonakilty Soccer Club and their Premier Division campaign, they won 12 of their 14 games. They scored 50 goals. They conceded just 9. Went undefeated throughout the league campaign. So they, John Leahy's side proved without a shadow of a doubt that they are the best team in the West Cork League right now, and that's back-to-back Premier Division titles for Clonakilty Soccer Club, who won the title for the first time last year. And like you said, Matthew, it's back-to-back doubles. But not only that, Clonakilty Soccer Club have won the quadruple this year in West Cork when you add in the Premier Division Cup, the Micheál Cronin Cup, on top of the Beamish Cup and the Premier Division title. So it's been a sensational season, you have to say that, for Clonakilty Soccer Club. And I know you were at the game on Sunday, Matthew, when you were talking to John Leahy after. And he made the point that it takes a good team to win a league, but a great team to retain it. And just look at the 6 trophies that Clonakilty Soccer Club have won across the last 2 seasons. And we've seen the power shift in the West Cork League for so long. Drinagh Rangers were the number 1 team in the region, and their incredible success over the last couple of years. But Clonakilty Soccer Club now, you have to say, they hold that mantle. Look at what they've won in the last 2 seasons. They are the team to beat in the West Cork League. Not looking too far ahead, but you just know Drinagh Rangers would be dead keen to get that title back off them next year. But I think right now it's just to celebrate the success of a really, really good team. And like, you were there on Sunday at Clonakilty Park. What impressed you about this Clonakilty team, Matthew?
I suppose just their skill sets, I suppose, in the forward line, especially their front three up front. Jack O'Crowley, who coincidentally John Leahy referenced as one of the new players in the squad, which probably emphasises their panel in many ways, their whole squad. Joanne Mead, I thought, was a colossal throat. And of course, the star, Chris Collins, as many Clon Soccer Club fanatics would call him, Flash. Absolutely superb. Like the free kick he scored that was posted on our Twitter page, the West Cork Sport Twitter handle. That was outstanding, the free kick into the top corner. His other goal as well, straight into the top corner as well, a curler from outside the box to make it 4-2. What a finish that was. And I think that's 33 or 34 goals this season in all competitions for Chris as well. Like, he scores about, like, you banking him scoring 2 or 3 goals a game. And that's monstrous kind of statistics to kind of have in your team. And even in the midfield, Draper had a good game as well. breaking up attacks and setting up breaking up attacks, obviously, from Drinagh, and setting up attacks for Clonakilty. Ruben Henry had a solid game at left back, or Bancroft was very good at right back as well. Eno Driscoll, very calm and composing goal. And just on the line, like they gave some great instructions, obviously, John Leahy, the manager, and Lord Aitby, the coach this year as well. They've given great instructions throughout the whole season, and you can't win a quadruple without good instructions from the line and good play on the pitch as well. So overall, like, to be honest with you, it's probably the whole team, but I think the three guys up front are just starlets when you compare them to any other West Cork League side, not just this season, but over the last few years. Like, I think this is the first club to do the double-double since the turn of the millennium as well. Clonakilty won the double last year, they won the double this year, which probably emphasises how much of a good team they are right now. And yeah, they deserve everything they get. They are a brilliant team, no doubt about it as well. And congratulations to all involved. But question for next season, Kieran, this is the big $1 million question for every other team in the West Cork League. How do you stop this Clonakilty team? Because they're on a crest of a wave at the moment. That's it, Eric, and that's what the rest of the West Cork League will be trying to figure out. But even on that, Matthew, I think Drinagh Rangers had gone undefeated at home all season in the league until Clonakilty came to town on Sunday morning, So for Clonakilty to go away to their biggest rival in the biggest game of the season, knowing that a draw or a win would clinch them the title, whereas Drinagh Rangers had to win last Sunday, like to take the title to the last game. But it just shows you how much this Clonakilty team has grown over the last couple of seasons, that they were able to go away to Drinagh Rangers and win 4-2 on Drinagh's home patch. Because I'm just thinking back to last year when the title also went down to the last day of the season, and Clonakilty were home to Drinagh, and that was a 2-2 draw that got Clonakilty over the line. But fast forward 12 months, and now you've a case where Clonakilty are going away to Drinagh and winning 4-2, and kind of being so impressive. And I think that almost highlights the growth and development of this Clonakilty team as well. But yeah, for next season, obviously you're going to have the likes of Drinagh Rangers will certainly be in the mix again. You're looking at the likes of Dunmanway Town and Castledown Celtic. Can they put up more of a fight and take it towards Clonakilty? We'll have Lyre and Baltimore coming up from the championship. Can one of those teams have a bit of momentum and just kind of cause a shock or two along the way? It's just going to be a really exciting season again next year, because we also have Togher Celtic and Drinagh Rangers being there, and Drinagh Rangers be even the giant killers, you could say, of the West Cork League this year. They beat Clonakilty in the Parkway Cup, which was Clon's only domestic defeat this season. They also beat their Drinagh Rangers A team in that cup final and also in the league. So Drinagh Rangers B aren't. They've shown that they can take a scalp along the way. So it just highlights the competitiveness of the West Cork League, and it's brilliant. It's just great to see. But like I said, this moment belongs to Clonakilty Soccer Club, and just congrats to John Leahy and all the lads. Like they've had a tremendous season. So hopefully they can enjoy a couple of down weeks before they get ready to go again. Exactly. So, and we'll be definitely looking forward to next season, obviously, and seeing if any team can raise to the challenge of trying to stop this Clonakilty juggernaut in many ways. We'll move on from kind of celebration to controversy now, and this has been the big story nationwide, up and down the country over the past few days. In many ways, obviously, the skorts versus shorts debate in camogie. Many people know about it right now, but there was a game on Saturday between, I know it didn't involve Cork, but it was between Dublin and Kilkenny in the Leinster camogie semi-final. Both sides in the warm-up wore shorts as opposed to skorts, but the referee and his officials instructed both management teams in Kilkenny and Dublin, if they were both going to wear shorts during the game would be abandoned. So the players went back into the dressing room, changed it to skorts, and played the game. For the record, Kilkenny won the game, but that's probably on the low ebb in terms of the story overall. It involves Cork because Cork are playing this weekend in the Munster camogie final against Waterford in the Rag at 1 p.m. on Saturday. But the Cork players and the Cork management have insisted that they are going to wear shorts for not just the warm-up, for the game itself as well. And there is a risk that the game could be abandoned. It remains to be seen at this present moment in time. I don't know, will Waterford actually wear shorts, follow Cork's lead, or will they wear the skorts once the throw-in happens? But like, if both teams wear the shorts as opposed to skorts, the game, according to the camogie rulebook, will be abandoned there as well. So what do you do? Who do you hand the Munster title to? So in terms of a story, Kieran, It's got great traction on social media. Everybody's posting about it. It's been the main story in GAA over the last few days. It's been talked about on RT's prime time as recently as yesterday as well. This story is gaining traction, and I think it's going to gain even more traction this weekend once the Cork and Waterford game rolls about this Saturday.
It's just such an own goal, I think, from the Camogie Association that we're here now in 2025 talking about players are not allowed to wear shorts to play a game, that they have to wear skorts. Okay, that's compulsory by the Camogie Association rule book, but Jesus, something has to give here, because it's beyond ridiculous. What we're seeing right now. Like you gave great context there in terms of what happened last week in the Leinster semi-final, and we've the Munster final this week, and the fact that you've this Cork team, they're the best team in the country right now. They're the back-to-back All-Ireland champions, they're the reigning league champions, they're the reigning Munster champions, yet they are adamant that they are wearing shorts on in Saturday's Munster final. Even just to say that, Matthew, we're talking about a women's team wearing shorts, and it's a story, it's just, like I said, it's beyond ridiculous, and it's always it is taken away from the stars of the game, like the likes you're going to have playing for Cork, the Saoirse McCarthy's and all these people on Saturday. Like, kind of, it's the Munster senior camogie final, yet it's been overshadowed by this kind of skorts v shorts controversy. So it's just you really hope that this is addressed quite quickly and it's just put to bed. And the common sense solution here is let the players wear what they feel is comfortable. There's a GPA survey out last week when I think it was 83% of 650 intercounty players who were surveyed said they would prefer to have the preference to wear skorts or shorts. So why the association is digging its heels in on this is I'm not too sure. I know I went to Congress last year and two motions to get this to get shorts on the shorts as a preferable kind of match where they were defeated. Again, that was baffling at the time, but we're here now in a situation where, like you said, it's all over the national media, whether it's online, newspapers, TV, and I think it's just embarrassing for the Camogie Association. They really need to get a handle on this, because if we have a situation on Saturday where the Munster Senior Camogie final is abandoned because both teams, Cork and Waterford, want to wear shorts, it's such a black mark against the Camogie Association, and it's such a spectacular own goal. They need to retreat a small bit now, and they need to just use a bit of cop on and common sense, and just see that we are in 2025. We're not in the dark ages anymore, where you can dictate that women have to wear skirts or women have to wear skorts. We're well beyond that. And I was chatting to Laura Tracy for tomorrow's Southern Star, and she's adamant. She goes, we will not be forced into the dressing room on Saturday and be told to change into skorts. We are wearing our shorts, that's it. If the game is abandoned, well, that's unfortunate, we don't want that, but we have to make a stand here. And they're 100% right. Like I said, it's gone beyond the ridiculous at this stage, and I love to hear from someone from the Camogie Association come out and give their reasons, like give valid reasons why players have to wear skorts in this day and age, when you have the overwhelming majority wanting the choice, at the very least, a choice to wear shorts or skorts. They need to listen to the players. The players are the ambassadors. The players are the people. The players are the reason that fans go to watch the games. The players are the reasons that fans pay money to go watch the games. The players are the real stars of the Camogie Association, and the association needs to listen to them. And I hope there's some sort of a resolution before Saturday, because, like I said, I think it'll be hugely embarrassing for the Camogie Association.
Definitely is, and you would have to see what happens, obviously. And in that GPA survey as well, 70% of players surveyed had experienced discomfort while wearing skorts. If that's not a black mark, that what is? It's ridiculous in many ways, and obviously this is to pay attention to the game as well. This game is a Munster final. There's silverware on the line, and what we're talking about is just a simple thing in terms of what players can't wear and can wear. It's just, like Ashley Marr, the Dublin Camogie player, described last Saturday's game against Kilkenny as a career low for her. Like, a lot of players are now coming out in the media over the last few days. And as you rightly mentioned, Kieran, I don't think the Camogie Association have come out themselves with a statement since all this has been going on, since the Dublin Kilkenny game. So just for them, in general, the Camogie Association, do you think it's crucial that they put out a statement sooner rather than later? Because the longer this drags on, the worse it'll get for them.
I think the Camogie Association have replied to certain media outlets who are looking for comment, but there's been nothing kind of, let's say, released to the general public, as in why, besides saying, oh, it's in the rule book and we have to adhere to the rule book and we might look at this at Congress in 2026, which is literally just pushing the problem down the road for 12 months, which certainly isn't good enough, especially when the spotlight is on this issue now. But you'd love to hear from some person in the Camogie Association and just explain to us in their reasoning for believing that players have to wear skorts. I'd love to talk to someone from the Camogie Association about that, and just to get their reasoning for that. Like I said, I hope there's some sort of resolution before Saturday, that we see some bit of white smoke, because it would be embarrassing for the Camogie Association, not so much for the Cork players or the Waterford players. Like, you have to give them their kudos. They're standing up for what they believe in. And like Laura Tracy said, it's not just for them, but it's for the next generation too, for the 15, 16-year-olds who are coming up and have to wear skorts and stuff as well. They're thinking about those, and they're looking at the bigger picture here. So we spent the last 5 or 6 minutes talking about skorts, rather than talking about why we think Cork could and should win the Munster Senior Camogie final. And that just shows you this, like I call it, a spectacular own goal from the Camogie Association. There's still time to fix this, still time to fix it. So let's wait and see what the next few days bring.
Should be interesting, all right. And for those who can't attend the game at Rag, as far as I know, the game is live on Clubber. So I think I'll be tuning in to see what exactly does unfold this Saturday. It should be very, very interesting indeed. But hopefully the players get what they deserve, and hopefully we'll just leave it at that for the rest of the summer, obviously. The Cork LGFA team are also in action this weekend. They're playing against Waterford at 2 p.m. this Sunday, away from home as well. They beat Tipperary last weekend, 3-13 to 11 points. That means this game against Waterford is essentially a Munster semi-final. The winner plays Kerry in the Munster final. After a kind of disappointing result against Kerry, Kieran, they beat Tipperary quite comprehensively. But this Waterford team, they finished third in Division 1. They only lost by a point to Kerry as well. They were very competitive in that game. So Joe Carroll's side, while there has been progress shown, it's going to be a difficult assignment to beat this Waterford team, especially away from home.
Exactly. Like, there was a kind of, I know it was a loss by Waterford last weekend against Kerry, but it just got on by 1 point to the All-Ireland champions. It just shows you the size of the task that's awaiting Cork and Dungarvan on Sunday afternoon. It's effectively a Munster semi-final. It's a shootout to see who play Kerry in the final. Cork have it all to do. Okay, Cork were more impressive against Tipperary last weekend. I think Katie Quirk got 2-6, Laura Mahoney got 1-2. There's a lot of plus points there, but you're going from playing a team like Tip to playing a team who finished third in Division 1 this season. So it's going to be a big ask for Cork, but we just have to remember where this Cork team are in their own journey. Like, they're just have to come up out of Division 2, and they'll be back in Division 1 for next season. They're now playing a team that have finished third in Division 1, who will be at home. Waterford have to be favourites for this game. If you're looking at the kind of the criteria, Waterford have played higher caliber opposition. They're going better than Cork in terms of results. They've home advantage, just after coming off a narrow loss to the All-Ireland champions. So, like I said, Cork have it all to do on Sunday. But these are just the type of games where Joe Carroll's going to learn a lot more about this young Cork team that's still finding their feet and still developing and still at an early stage of their own journeys. So just going to be interesting to see how this one plays out on Sunday.
Exactly so, and it should be a very interesting game, all right, between Cork and Waterford, and a major test for Joe Carroll's team coming up against a very good Division 1 side, to be fair, in Waterford as well. On Cork underage over the last few weeks, obviously the under-20s lost last Monday week to Kerry to get a bit of a beating in Parkway. The minors got beat by 10 points by Kerry, 2-18 to 1-8 last Monday evening. Keith Ricken's first competitive game in charge of the Cork minor team. To be fair here, the first half, Cork were quite competitive, 6 to 9 points, and they had a lot of missed shots compared to Kerry. They converted nearly everything. Like, just for context, Kerry got their first wide inside additional time at the end of the second half, which was absolutely incredible shooting from them. But then the second half, Kerry scored 1-6 without reply and the game's gone. But then again, it's worth noting as well, this game was in many ways a dead rubber because both sides were through to the semi-final anyway. Cork will play Tipperary and Kerry will play Clare in those semi-finals. The winners of those semi-finals obviously reach the Munster final and play against each other there. But what did you think of the Cork Miners last Monday evening here? And I know it's 11 losses in a row now across senior, minor, under 20 grades for Cork against Kerry. But there's still some positive signs for the minor team, like Tom Woolley from Clonakilty getting 1-1 off the bench. Brilliant performance from him. Donagh Flynn getting a goal as well. There was a few good performances from Cork point of view. A lot of kicking as well, which was great to see as well. They were moving the ball fast, which was a good sign. Ultimately, though, the second half, the game kind of got away from them.
That's exactly it. Like first half, you'd be very encouraged after that. Second half, not so much. But I suppose you got to remember we're dealing with minors in their first game in the Munster Championship, and if everything goes according to plan next Monday night, away to Tip, you could be looking at a Cork Kerry rematch in the Munster final, and that's going to be a real test of where this Cork minor team are at. They keep Ricken at the helm. Like Keith's a great, obviously he's a great GM, and he's a great fella especially for those younger players. Like he does some super work with obviously with the Cork under 20 team a couple of years ago. But I think he's the ideal man to have in charge of the Cork minor team, and he was in flying form after with his chat to the media, and even I suppose he's comparing Cork playing Kerry every year, and it's touched on that record that it's now 11 championship defeats against Kerry in a row from senior, under 20 and minor, and it's almost a 2-year anniversary. I think it was May 11th, 2023. Cork minor team beat Kerry, and since then no Cork football team has beaten Kerry in men's football. But Keith was making a point. It's like Cork are taking on Muhammad Ali every year, kind of, and it's like because comparing obviously Kerry to Muhammad Ali, so it's a tough ask. But I think in just the bigger context, away from just talking about the minors for a second match, like it is extremely disappointing that it's 11 consecutive defeats, and it is a worry, and it's something that at some stage that the Cork County Board are going to have to address. And I know they've said they're going to do a review at the end of the respective championships and so on, but it has to be concerning, kind of where Cork football is right now. Hopefully the minors, they can regroup, they can do the job against Tip, and then look forward to a Munster football final. But you just can't get away from the fact that Cork's record against Kerry right now is really, really poor. And that goes down to schools as well. And, it's just alarm bells have to be sounding somewhere. Okay, I get it, Kerry are good at what they do, but I think the gap between Cork and the other counties in Munster has closed over the last couple of years as well. Look at the Tip under 20s, who were disappointed not to be Cork in the Munster under 20 semi-final. We've seen in the last couple of years too, the likes of Clare beating Cork in the Munster Senior Football Championship. So it's not only about Kerry, I suppose, stretching out ahead of the rest of the counties in Munster. It's always about Cork falling back as well. So it's just it's a topic that will have to be addressed at some stage, and hopefully addressed soon, because we all want answers from the county board for the questions that we have.
Hopefully the Cork Miners can recover and get to a Munster final, which would probably be against Kerry, provided obviously Kerry beat Clare in the other semi-final, and hopefully Cork can regroup and progress further in the minor with Keith Ricken at the helm. We'll take a quick break now, and after the break we'll be talking everything Carbery GAA.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
So welcome back to the podcast, and in a while we'll hear from the Carbery GAA PRO, Tim Buckley, as we discuss the centenary event that Carbery GAA will be holding this Sunday in the Parkway Hotel in Dunmanway from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. All 26 clubs obviously invited. There's going to be a parade for referees on the day as well. Some guest speakers, obviously. They're honouring the 1975 junior team from Bandon. So it seems like it's going to be a good day throughout for Carbery GAA. And I suppose, Kieran, 100 years in existence for Carbery GAA. It's always going to be a big year. And this Sunday, hopefully, will be the start of a great celebratory year.
Yeah, exactly that. Like for the Carbery board to reach 100 years is an incredible milestone. And I know they've worked really hard to kind of, they've a list of events for the year ahead. And this this club day on Sunday. Like it's a great idea because you're getting the 26 clubs from the division together under the one roof on the one day. And when you think about how big the Carbery division is, to have 26 clubs in it, like it's huge. Like you're going from Kilbrittain and Bandon over to Muintovara, kind of St. Columns, kind of up to Dawn, East Castlehaven. You've like such a huge region. So most of the time, like I can never remember an instance where you've all the clubs together at the one time. So even from that social point of view, I think Sunday is really, really important for just to bring all these clubs together, whether it's just to chat and catch up, whether to share ideas and just to check in how the rest of the clubs are doing. And I know all the clubs will have their own stalls. So it's just I think it's a lovely idea, and hopefully a big crowd will come out on Sunday to support this, because this is a really important year for Carbery GAA, and like they have other big things planned for later in the year, like a black tie ball. I think in November there'll be specially commissioned medals for various championship winners later in the year. So it's a big year for Carbery, and I think they're going to kick it off in style this Sunday.
Exactly. So, and let's hear from the Carbery GAA PRO, Tim Buckley, right now. So delighted to be joined on the podcast this week by Carbery GAA PRO Tim Buckley ahead of this Sunday's centenary event for Carbery GAA held in the Parkway Hotel in Dunmanway from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. this Sunday. I suppose, first of all, Tim, the first question to ask, this centenary year for Carbery GAA, how important is this year for Carbery?
Yeah, well, this year is our 100-year anniversary, as we all know at this stage now, and it's very important that we mark the anniversary, the 100-year anniversary, I suppose, basically to acknowledge how far Carbery has come, and also to acknowledge the work of the people that have gone before it, like myself, and ex-officers, players, clubs, old clubs that are no longer in existence, and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that this event on Sunday will serve to do that.
And this Sunday we'll see a celebration of the Parkway Hotel, and will be a celebration of the 26 clubs in the division as well. Talk to us about where the idea came from and what people can expect this Sunday.
Yeah, it's amazing actually how these ideas, come to pass. But, the centenary celebrations have been in process for well over a year now at this stage. Our ex-chairman, Aidan O'Rourke, and the likes of Tommy Lyons there, we started the process probably this time last year, I would say, and we were very anxious when we were making our plans, Matthew, to include all of the clubs, all of the patrons, all of the players, all of the officers, the volunteers and clubs. We were very anxious to include at some stage this year a day for everybody. And we are so confident now at this stage that we've provided that on Sunday, and we're hoping that all and sundry will attend in Dunmanway next Sunday, as I say.
And how special is it to have all 26 clubs in the division in one place at the one time?
Oh my God, it's amazing. Like last year we had a mini event for the launch of the championships again in the Parkway Hotel, and we had a couple of side events, I call them, like the parade of the clubs. And we're very lucky here in West Cork. We have 26 clubs, which is a huge number. I think we're probably the biggest division in the county, if not the country. I would say there's some counties wouldn't have as many club teams as we have here in West Cork. So that's a serious statistic to accommodate that. But the plus side is that when the colours come together, we have a huge array of club colours. And to see it, I think I saw it myself for the first time maybe 7 or 8 years ago at another event, and I was going, oh my God, the splash of colour is absolutely spectacular. And we're actively encouraging all the clubs now. We have a board liaison officer working with each and every club, and we're encouraging the clubs really to make sure that there's a splash of colour on the day, because the aesthetics of the whole thing, when you come into the hall and see that, that sets the tone in for the day,
And you have a lot planned for this Sunday, as I could imagine as well. But how important is it to have a parade of clubs and referees on the day too?
So again, we're very anxious to acknowledge all of the clubs individually. And last year we did it at the launch, where all of the clubs were welcomed into the hall one by one, and each club will have their few minutes in the Sunday. So we'll have a club player or representative walking into club colours and any trophies won during 2024. So all of the 26 clubs will be acknowledged individually. You asked me about the referees as well. Like we're very anxious to acknowledge the role that referees play in Gaelic football here in West Cork, and we'll be announcing all of the referees registered here in West Cork individually as well into the room, and they're under the guidance of the referees administrator Stephen Murphy. So Stephen will be coordinating all that. I was at a function last year where the referees were presented with special medals, and to see, I think it was over 40 referees inside the one room, and they have their own uniform as well. Like, and it was great to see, because now you only see one referee at a time, like, or maybe match officials, but it was a huge body of men, and like it's only then you realise that the contribution and where would we be without them, like, you know. And like the Carbery executive is, we launched the Youth Initiative there in 2024, a recruitment drive, and you know, we would be hoping that, you know, that there be some young fella inside the hall on Sunday, and he would see the attractiveness of, you know, becoming a match official here in West Cork, like, and we are very, very keen, like, to both acknowledge and to thank the referees for the contribution to football here in West Cork.
And as well as that, with all the other events happening on today as well, you will have guest speakers on today, Seamus Coakley and Kevin O'Donovan, obviously two great football men, or GAA men themselves. Tell us a bit more about them.
Well, I suppose firstly, Seamus is everything that you would expect in a president of a GAA. Like, he's a great guidance there in the background to us all, like, you know, and he's got great experience at board level, at county board level, and you know, he's president of the Carbery GAA, like, and he's also a renowned historian and speaker and well accomplished, and I don't think anybody will be bored with the words that he comes up with. I'm certainly looking forward to hearing him, and he'll be opening the ceremony at 2:00. You mentioned Kevin O'Donovan. Kevin is one of our own from the Kilmeen Carbery GAA club, risen through the ranks. I remember Kevin was a GAA back in 2007, I'd imagine. He became involved in underage coaching at a county board level and progressed through the ranks, as we call it. And he's now our boss and the CEO of Cork County Board. And you know, there's been lots of exciting developments, like in Cork GAA, Carbery GAA, in Irish GAA, nationally, and Kevin has been involved in a lot of those projects, and the ones that are coming down the road, you know, I'm sure he'll be involved in as well. Like, and you know, I personally will be really looking forward to hearing him speak and hearing his ideas. And Kevin has huge support to us here in Carbery, and in the goings on and the dealings as we make our programs and that kind of thing. And Kevin will be very welcome today, and I'm sure there'll be a huge crowd turn up to hear him speak.
And another welcome addition as well to the day is the Bandon junior team from 1975. Tell us a bit more about them and what you're looking forward to in seeing them on the day.
Yeah, a remarkable story, I suppose, really. You know, like, I suppose, first of all, the surprise is that 1975 was 50 years ago. But it is. Time waits for no man, as the men said. But a remarkable story where they were actually a second team. Bandon's first team were playing their trade, I think, in the intermediate or senior grade at the time. And their second team won out the junior A football and hurling, I believe. So, again, like, you know, any facts that I'm incorrect in here, like, I'm sure I'll be corrected on Sunday, because most of that team are alive and well, thanks be to God, and we'll be welcoming them into the hall, like, and providing them with certificates, again, like, just to, number one, mark the 50 years, and number two, mark the fact that that it was our second team that actually won our primary competition here in Carbery.
In terms of the event itself as well, what are you expecting Carbery GAA will get out of the event, and how will it help Carbery GAA in the long run?
Well, again, like, when we, you know, like, we have our gala dinner dance in November, like, and that's going to be what it is, like, but this is really a day for everybody, like, you know, man, woman and child, even people that don't partake in Gaelic football. Then we want to be able to tell our story and the story of all the clubs, like, and like, I suppose, ingrained in that, then, like, you know, people will be there obviously occupying their own stands. You have different clubs all over the division, but inadvertently, when we go to matches, you know, sometimes the result of the game or the performance of your team becomes secondary, because, you know, it's a social outlet as well. Like, and we get to meet people, you know, that we wouldn't normally meet. And that's on on an A versus B situation. Can you imagine what's going to happen when every single club in the division is going to be inside one room together? Like, I'm really excited about that. And I hope that in time to come, people will look back and say, geez, the centenary day there in May in Dunmanway was a special day because we met everybody. And that's, I think, a testament to the GAA, because we're ingrained in society, in schools, in the way young lads and girls are brought up. And, I hope that the day reflects that. I really do.
Just one final thing as well. Have you any more events planned for later in the year?
We started off, we said little will be lots, and we marked the beginning of the year at our convention in December with an unveiling of a plaque to remember the founding members of the Carbery GAA, and that plaque stands proudly inside in Bandon GAA Club, one of the founding members. And we'll finish the year with another plaque being mounted in Kilbrittain GAA Club, who are another one of our founding members, and that'll be at the end of the year. But we also have Sunday's event, and that'll be a huge historical heritage and, we'll say, cultural event. And then at the end of the year, we'll have our gala ball, where we are delighted to be able to welcome the current Gaelic football, our GAA president, Jarlath Burns, to West Cork. And the tickets, I'm not going to say the tickets are gone, but if you look at 26 clubs and there's only so many people you can fit into the hall, then the tickets will be very, very scarce. And once Sunday's event is over, we'll be preparing for that. But that'll be a huge gala event. Needless to say, a different event to Sunday's one, but it'll continue the celebrations all the way on to the end of the year.
Absolutely. So, and first of all, this Sunday, which should be a very fun event, obviously, for everybody involved in Carbery GAA. Tim, thanks for your time on the podcast this week, and all the best for Sunday's event.
Thank you, Matthew.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
So it is that time of the week again where we look at what's in this Thursday's Southern Star Sports section. So what should we expect this week here?
Yeah, loads going on this week, just coming off the back of a bank holiday. Obviously, we talked earlier about Clonakilty Soccer Club winning the Premier Division title, so we have super coverage on that. But also a shout out to the Lyre Rovers women's team who won the West Cork League Women's Sevens Premier Division title. And I know, Matthew, you were talking to Caroline Button there for a piece about their season. Also, Phil Healy is in action at the World Athletics Relays in China this weekend. So I had a chat with Phil from her base in Hong Kong. They went out there for a kind of to acclimatise a training camp before they moved on to China for the World Athletic Relays are on this Saturday and Sunday. So it's just a different chat with Phil, because she's raced in all these incredible cities and countries, but she makes the point that she never gets to explore and visit them. So it's just taking a different angle with Phil. And sticking with athletics, we've news from the South Munster Schools Championships that were held at MTU, and there were some record-breaking performances from the likes of Caoimhe Flannery in the steeplechase and Sam Kingston in the javelin. Also, I was chatting to Nuala Carey. She's one of the driving forces behind Bantry Basketball Club. She's from Drinagh League originally. She's living in Adrigal with her husband, excuse me, and their 5 kids. She runs Glengarrett Pharmacy, and she's been selected on the Irish Women's Masters basketball team for the 2nd season in a row. It's just a super story there, so that's well worth checking out. I also have caught up with Saoirse McCarthy and the Cork Camogie star ahead of Saturday's Munster Camogie final, which hopefully will go ahead, kind of barring the skorts controversy that we addressed earlier. And I was just chatting to Saoirse again, just something different. Her buddy, one of her best friends, Fiona Keating, also from Courcey Rovers, is not involved in the Cork senior camogie panel this year because Fiona's heading to the States for the summer. She's in action-packed couple of weeks planned there. So Saoirse's just chatting about, I suppose, the Cork setup without Fiona and her own thoughts around travel, and does she want to travel, when she'll fit it in, and so on. When it comes to our GAA coverage, our feature match this week is the County Junior B Hurling Championship game, where the O'Donovan Rosses beat Loch Rovers. And we've a very interesting interview with Kevin Cotter, the manager there, where he talks about the Rosses rebuild. And also congrats to the Cork minor girls football team that won the Munster title last weekend, and a big West Cork involvement here. We had Eddie Tobin from Skibbereen as the captain. Ava Donovan from Skibbereen was a forward there. And so too was Kate Carey from Island Rovers. So we have a full page pictures and reaction from the Cork Minor Girls Munster win in Thursday's Southern Star. So as you can see, Matthew, absolutely packed again.
Exactly. So, and as usual, if you are further afield or can't make it to the shops, you could subscribe to the Southern Star e-paper and get the Southern Star on your laptop, tablet or phone. Just go to www.southernstar.ie/subscribe, enter details, and you'll get an exact replica of the newspaper for less than €2 per week. As always, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast, and thanks again to our sponsors at Access Credit Union. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to rate, review and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be back again next week. Until then, take care.